Good morning, y'all. This is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. A lot of stuff happened last night in the world of boxing. Manny Pacquiao carved up a dude I don't know. David AVA was a sparring partner, and Teofimo Lopez lost. They robbed Sandor Martin. In this video, I'll talk about all those things. Let's get right into the content. Like I said before, y'all, this is your boy JG. This is the Punch Report. Good morning. Let's get into it. So I did a live last night. I covered the Sandor Martin, Teofimo Lopez bout. The card on paper looked pretty good. Shout out to Big Baby Anderson, the real Big Baby, getting a knockout in the second round. He's got all knockouts. Had some adversity there. In the first round, got clipped with a left hand. Did this stanky leg a little bit. Was able to compose himself, establish range, and start running in heavy shots on a dude who looked like he just got off the couch. No disrespect. The belly meat was aggressive. He got put away viciously. Xander Zayas, I haven't had an opportunity to see the tape on that particular bout. That's a guy that I'm high on right now. He definitely does his thing. Exciting to watch. Has all the skills and ability. From what I'm hearing, though, he looked human last night. Didn't look special. Had a rough outing, but was able to get the victory. Shout out to Keyshawn Davis. From what I understand, that he did get it done last night. He got it done in impressive fashion. Kind of cruised to a victory. I got to check that tape out as well. But let's move to the main topic of this video. What I really wanted to cover is Sandor Martin and Teofimo Lopez. If you guys haven't had the opportunity to check that fight out, please do so. I'm going to be honest and upfront, full disclosure. It's not the most exciting fight, but it's worth a watch, especially if you're going to check out this video or some of the other videos you want to see covering this bout, because I think general consensus amongst individuals who watched the fight last night and can kind of watch it from an objective perspective is shout out to the takeover, shout out to Teofimo Lopez. He did not win that fight. Sandor Martin boxed beautifully. He had a good jab. He had really tremendous timing. I will put some clips in here of the knockdown he scored in the second round. I think he got a second knockdown in the 7th or 8th round, but they ruled that a slip. But essentially it was the same punch sequence, you know. Teofimo Lopez spent a large portion of the evening starting from too far outside. He had no lead hand work. And I talked about it last night. He had this chopping thing that he was doing, lefty versus righty, where he was just trying to karate chop Sandor Martin's lead hand down and then leap in with something big. Sandor Martin did a tremendous job establishing range, utilizing great footwork, and countering Teofimo Lopez with big shots. What I ended up predicting was this, and it came true. Sandor Martin boxed beautifully, used footwork, used technique, moved around the ring. He was extremely efficient and economical with his punches and made everything count. But the stalking, the pressure, even the shots that Teofimo Lopez was throwing and not landing, that looked more impressive or telling in the eyes of the judges. Even though this is an ESPN card, Teofimo Lopez is a fighter that ESPN has a lot invested in at the moment. But the writing for me was on the wall. It means more to have Teofimo win, even if it's a crazy decision, than it does to say, hey, Sandor Martin, you came in here, you did your thing, and you got the victory tonight. Congratulations to you. One of my main issues with this is one of the cards was really wide, 92-97 in favor of Teofimo Lopez. And I don't know how you see that in a 10-round fight, where essentially he was knocked down in the second and cut up, countered effectively, and made to look a bit silly offensively by Sandor Martin. He boxed really well. I can't see a scenario where you say, you know, I gave 8 of these 10 rounds to Teofimo Lopez. But that's what it takes to get it done in a scenario where you want to protect a guy on the come up. He's not undefeated, but he's a shit talker. You know, he got a charismatic dad who's a little bit too much in my opinion. And you keep the hype alive at the 140-pound division. With that being said, 140 pounds for Teofimo Lopez, he needs to keep fighting guys like Zapata and dudes way down in the rankings. His power does not translate to this division. The last dude he fought, whose name I can't remember, I think he took him 8 rounds to get him out of there or whatever the case may be. And he just went the distance with Sandor Martin in a 10-round bout where he scored no knockdowns. At no point in time was Sandor Martin ever compromised or hurt. Teofimo did do a good job going 1-1-2 to the body. That was an effective combination for him, but that is it. You start thinking about the best in the business at 140 pounds, and the first name that comes in my mind is Regis Prograis. He will body Teofimo Lopez. It won't be competitive, and we'll be feeling bad for Teofimo Lopez after a Regis Prograis fight. It just is what it is. He is not ready for the elites at 140 or 135, in my opinion. Dudes from 135 can come up right now and give Teofimo Lopez work. It is what it is. Devin, Shakur, Tank, whoever, they'll give Teofimo work. Shout out to him. Shout out to his team. Let's move on. The much anticipated, just joking, Terence Bud Crawford, David AVA fight took place, Omaha, Nebraska. I was taking a look at, I just checked out some of the stuff. I watched that whole fight after the fact. And then I was looking at some of the clips of the other fights. The setup looked different. It looked like they were fighting overseas somewhere. The undercard was underwhelming. Shout out to Chris Cyborg. She did her thing. But I want to get into the Terence Crawford bout itself. This was a straight-up Terence Crawford carry. David AVA came in primarily with a high guard, walked to Terence Crawford, who's very dynamic offensively, and Terence Crawford just kind of played with him. Step arounds unnecessary. He knew everything that AVA was going to do. That fight didn't need to go 6 rounds, and AVA could have got knocked out in the first or second round. That's not what people are checking for in a pay-per-view perspective, and that was a pay-per-view, about $40, I believe the price point was on that, and it was a straight carry. Someone asked me to do a film study on that, and there's not. I'm gonna throw some clips in here. There's not a lot to really break down, other than that Terence Crawford was in there practicing stuff. At no point in time was day he wasn't even really trying that hard. And then when he finally put his foot on the gas, he got AVA out of there. And if for my money, if I'm Bud Crawford, I'm gonna do that in 1 or 2 rounds. That is exactly how that fight should have looked. We knew that AVA was a plus 800 dog, Crawford a minus 1600 favorite. That fight should have looked like that, and it shouldn't have been taken 6 rounds. And that's not because Crawford didn't look good or whatever the case may be, but the reality of the situation is David AVA had no business being in there. AVA can't beat Boots. He can't beat Virgil Ortiz, Stanionis. He can't beat Errol. He can't beat Speedy Rashidi Ellis. He can't beat any of those dudes. So you know he has no business being in there with Bud Crawford. But the Crawford fans would check for that. They liked it. They bought it. I'm sure people went out there and had a great time. Congratulations to Bud Crawford for getting a victory over a sparring partner and getting paid handsomely for that. Shout out to you. Like I mentioned, you'll see the clips in here as well. On a side note, crazy news from last night. Errol Spence Jr., the truth, was involved in a motor vehicle accident. Not what you might think it is. Look into it. Eventually, he was traveling, doing his thing. And apparently, a young man by 14 years of age took his parents' vehicle without permission. He has no driver's license, no permit, or anything like that. Speeding, rolling the whip, and just crashed right into Errol's joint. Go to FightHype.com to check out the full video. It's from Errol Spence's social media, where that pretty much describes the entirety of the situation. I guess Errol Spence is rolling around in a bulletproof sedan of some sort, and it saved his life because it was a head-on collision. But because the vehicle is not aluminum and all this other shit they make cars with these days, it was able to absorb the impact well and minimize the damage to the occupants of the vehicle. I don't know the status of the individual, the 14-year-old that is, but scary night for Errol. If I'm him, I'm not leaving the house no more. I'm just at the crib kicked up because I can't get ran into, get hit by all sorts of crazy whips and cars and all this nonsense. Glad he's safe. Glad he's good to go. That's pretty much the gist of that situation. Last but most certainly not least, Pac Man Manny Pacquaio. He fought on DKU. He took on DKU, excuse me. The fight was at 160 pounds. Manny Pacquiao looked like he came in at 160. What I would say about Manny Pacquiao, though, is he's still a dude you probably just don't want punching on you. He's a dynamic offensive fighter, and he still has them brick hands. Take a look at the clips here. He scores multiple knockdowns. It looked like an exhibition bout because that's what it was. But I think Manny Pacquiao can come back and beat some mid-level guys up, maybe some bums. But him saying names of Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr., Errol especially, in my opinion, he would get absolutely bodied at any weight class by Errol Spence Jr. Defensively, he's always been deficient, but now he's a bit older, a little bit slower, and I think his legs are gone a little bit. You want to fight a young, hungry Errol Spence Jr., best of luck to you. But let me know what you guys think about last night's happenings, what you want to see next. Shout out to my man DH. Shout out to King Carter. You guys keep it consistent. Keep coming through. This is your boy, JG. This has been the Punch Report. If you made it this far, you definitely a real one. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell icon for notification. We out.